Welcome back to another episode by the Dutch Investors. I'm your host Siem, and today I've got something a little different and special for you. We sat down with Marcin Droba, Head of Investor Relations at Text S.A, a Polish software company some of you might still know as LiveChat. They operate in the customer service industry, and it's a very fragmented, fast evolving industry, especially with AI reshaping how we interact online. We talked about what it's like to work at a fast scaling tech company, how to balance capital efficiency with innovation, why being headquartered in Poland gives them such a unique edge, their competitive advantage, and much more. We really enjoyed talking to Marcin and gained some new and unique insights, and hope you will too. So whether you're into software, SaaS, investing, or just love hearing behind the scenes stories from growing companies, this one is for you. Enjoy. Welcome everybody. Today I am here with Marcin. Is that how I pronounce it?
Exactly. Yes, that's correct.
Marcin Droba from the Investor Relations of Text. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for invitation. I'm really excited to be here.
Before we dive into Text and all things about software and AI, could you briefly introduce yourself to us?
Sure. Currently, I'm VP of Investor Relations of the Text. I used to be a journalist for the very long time. So I was journalist. I was covering Polish stock exchange, companies from technology, communications, gaming sectors. So that's my feedback. That's my background. I decided to move toward PR at some point in of my let's say career. I joined a PR agency which actually started to specialize in investor relations instead of the PR. That was really extremely interesting experience. I was working with some great companies, including, for example, CD Projekt, company known as makers of Witcher games and Cyberpunk game, and some other company as well. And that's how I met live chat software company then called live chat software, now known as a Text. I was responsible for the communication of the IPO, and after some times we've met together, and I was invited to the company to actually create in-house IR team.
And for those unfamiliar with Text, if you had to explain it to, say, a 12-year-old, how would you explain or describe Text?
Okay, so that's a company which provides tools mostly dedicated to online communication. So if you interact with some companies, providers of the services, maybe your school or university, using especially live chat, but also email or WhatsApp, or some other online channel of the communication, it's very possible that actually our product were somehow used to conduct this communication or to analyze data which comes out of that communications. So that's about Text. And obviously our specialty, our focus is on text-based communications.
Yeah, that makes sense. Although otherwise the name change wouldn't have made a lot of sense, right?
Right.
So you told us a little bit how you ended up at Text, your journey there. Could you perhaps expand a bit more on your daily responsibilities? You're the head of investor relations at Text. So Can you walk us through what your role actually looks like on a day-to-day basis? What are some of your responsibilities, and maybe even some things people might not even realize fall under investor relations?
Sure. Actually, it's maybe it's funny thing. Actually, I'm one of the co-founders of a recently created Polish IR Society. So that's group of the IR professionals, and it looks like this job can be extremely very different in different companies. So that question makes a lot of sense. We are as you know, investor relations are usually rated by, you know, by some by journalists, by investors, by retail investors, by institutions, and it's sometimes easy to say like this company have great IR or this company is not doing great IR. And actually it's of course valid opinions, but it's also so always some perspective in that. And actually it's like with iceberg, a lot of our work is invisible to our stakeholders. So yes, one of part of our job is to observe what is happening, uh, what our stakeholders, what medias, investors, and etc. are, you know, saying about how our company, what is the story around our company, what is happening in our environment. um, we like starting day looking through all the dailies from brokerage houses to look at the media monitoring and so on and so on. Is this awareness of what is happening in an environment, also on stock exchanges, in other companies, is very important. Actually, we creating some intel for our team. We when I spot some interesting report from broker or from some
From
media,
us?
I'm from you,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm sending that over to you know, to our management board, to our CXOs. I'm choosing who should know what, and actually, AI tools are great for that. So for example, Google have a great thing called Notebook.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
actually, being in podcast is very interesting. They have very interesting feature because actually you can upload some data to that notebook. So you can upload, for example, a very long detailed report to the notebook, and create not only a summary but also a podcast based on that data. And I really like to create this podcast, and I know that some of our CXOs are listening to this podcast like on the morning traveling to the office. So that's also part of our job. But we don't actually, in the text we also takes role or some legal team when it comes to our duties as a listed companies. So actually we like the first team, the people who can decide that we have like information which should be reported. We creating all the stock exchange reports. We are responsible for the quarterly and annual results. We are sending them these reports through electronic system of Polish Warsaw Stock Exchange and regulator of the market. Um, So that's also some part of the job. I have this background as a journalist, so also I'm creating a lot of news release. I'm responsible for circulations of these press releases. Um, Actually, at this point, our department is responding for the questions from the media, not only about only about financial results. Um, Obviously, we create like materials you interact with, like presentations. As you know, I'm also conduct our webinars, investors calls um, for the investors, but also for the media. Um, we are creating some plans, so we're deciding which conferences, investor conference, we're gonna attend, and so on and so on. And we also have very close um, we also have very close cooperation with the financial teams, which is I think also obvious with the data team in our company. So sometimes we are asking a data team for some to create some tables for us, and it's absolutely great thing. um, we asked data teams for particular data set, and it's great to see that sometimes this data set, this exact data sets we wanted, is used by the other departments, by other teams. So that's very nice. And obviously we are responding to your questions, to questions from our investors, and we are we have available not only through emails but also by live chat on our website.
That's a lot more diverse than even I would have thought. So you're kind of a middleman, kind of an observer, a writer, an assistant, a journalist, all in one, I guess. Do you feel like you know more on the company Text than many investors do? And can you invest in Text yourself, or are you not allowed to?
I'm allowed to. I'm very happy to being allowed to. Actually, I'm shareholder, and actually, I'm always registering to our AGM. So anyone can, any shareholder can sign up, can register to participate in our general meeting, and if that shareholders will register, can ask us about list of registered shareholders, and take they can check how many shares I owned. Uh, but for me, it's very special to be able to be shareholders in the company I work with. So it's very special. So don't think that investing on the base uh, of what I thinking about share price. I'm investing because for me it's very important to be shareholder of that company. And I obviously I believe in that company, but you know, as a person from the financial market, uh, is like great thing to be shareholder.
As a fellow shareholder, I agree. Yeah, definitely. I have to visit the general meeting sometime, but Poland is
Feel invited.
yes, it's a long drive, so perhaps I'll have to fly then.
Not so long, but feel invited. Anytime if you will be in Wrocław or in Warsaw, let me know
I'll keep that
give
in
me some
mind.
time. And
Awesome.
yes,
Yeah. Do you live in Poland?
yes. I live in Poland actually, and live in Warsaw, and that's funny thing because I joined Text before pandemics, And I was actually the very first person who joined the company to work remotely, because our HQ is located in the city of Wrocław. We knew each other, so there was a trust between me, between CEO, management board, key people in the company. I knew most of them, and they were okay. That they wanted me, which is nice thing, and they were okay that I can stay in Warsaw and work with a company based in Wrocław.
Is there a reason Text is not located in Warsaw?
Obviously. So it's founded in Wrocław, from people from Wrocław, and that's interesting story actually. I was planning to tell that story later, but we can jump in. Actually, 10 live chat software was founded by group of people, and two of them, Maciej Jarzębowski and Jakub Sitarz, were also founders of other company called bankier.pl. Bankier.pl was, and still is, actually they sold that business, but still is very popular website. They have also own a very popular investor forum. Uh, Honestly, very toxic one, if I can say that. So, but nevertheless, they had a very popular business. They have very popular website. They have a huge traffic
In Poland or
in
internationally?
Poland. No, it was Poland, and in Polish website, in Polish language, but it was local, and but was very popular. They had huge traffic on that website, and they were looking for the idea on how to monetize that traffic. And the one idea was that it would be great to have opportunity, to have tool to to contact these people online in the real time. Right? That's the great moment. You can contact people, uh, which you have to take attention at this very moment. You know some things about them. You know how they moving through your website, what they looking for, how they found the website. So they just thought that it would be great to have opportunity to say hi. We can see that, let's say you are comparing some offers from the bank, so we here and now we have some special offer for you at this moment. So that was the idea. And they were looking, it was like 20 plus years ago. And they start looking for solutions which would that make possible. But guess what? They were none. They were not something like that. None in Poland. Outside the Poland, there was company called Life Person who was doing something like that. Not exactly that. It was very expensive, very expensive, and it wasn't possible to buy that solution to Poland. So, being in Poland, so they just thought, let's do that. And maybe that's not only our problem. Maybe we can solve that problem to other people, to other companies in Poland. And because banker.pl had its own core business, they decided to create a new company around this idea, and about the idea how to solve that problem. And that was beginning of the story. and they were based on Wrocław. Actually, all of them were actually living in Wrocław, and Wrocław is a good place to create business like that. This is a very nice city, and they have a very good, universities. So there is also talent pool was I would say very deep.
So, what is it about Poland that makes it such an intriguing, well, place for investment? We have analyzed different Polish companies already. For some reason, there is an exceptionally high amount of quality companies that are pretty decently valued there, from the likes of Auto Partner, Text, even Dino Polska, which we own. Um, what unique opportunities does Poland kind of offer? How would you describe the business culture in Poland, and perhaps even more importantly, is it challenging to operate as a company in Poland? Are there any factors that make it like a investor friendly?
Oh, very interesting questions. Um, Polish, I think we have a very hardworking and very industrious people. And I remember the times of the end of the communism, and mm, Polish economy virtually didn't exist then. But when the first opportunity arise to create your own business, uh there was like huge boom. People were trading everywhere. People were using any opportunity to create business. So people were very very keen to start work to create business, when actually they knew that they are able to create something on the own, to earn real money, to create value, to build something new. And you saw like small businesses everywhere. Mm, I remember that's the very interesting story with so-called um, giełda komputerowa, which can be translated in the computers, like mm, bursts or computers trade, uh, place located in the school, which and the school actually in the weekend changed to the place where people were selling computers parts and software and games, sometimes not entirely legal games, but we didn't have a really IP law then. So technically, these people were on the right side of the law at this point, and and this place was place when future big listed companies were created. So that was the place when CD Projekt was created, CI Games, Techland. So huge global companies were created in places like that. Also in other industries. Um, so I think that there was like huge ambition in that nations country, a feeling that we were like punished by history, and we had to work and live in the system which really didn't mm, uh, award that uh, hard work, and when it was possible, Polish people just embraced that opportunity, and I think still the people in the Poland are very hardworking, where they can see that it makes sense. And also looking just at the place when we also big enough as a internal market to enable the first phase of the growth for the companies, which is a trap, which actually some people think that is the reasons why we have a lot of big companies, strong companies, because they have an internal market big enough to grow, to scale up. At the same times, we didn't have a lot of global companies. Because if you look at even very small countries from our regions, like Estonia, like Hungary, perhaps, they have outside the game, maybe outside gaming, they have bigger global successes because they were starting in so small market that they were just forced to go outside from the very beginning.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think you're right. In the Netherlands, we have many Polish workers. Actually, they are kind of known as humble, hardworking people, just like you just said. They don't complain. They are very kind. Dutch people are kind of known for a lot of complaining and half glass full kind of people. And I think this just kind of stems from perhaps even the communist side of Poland, right? Where they're familiar with having less, needing to work hard, earn your share. And it's now the fastest growing European economy. So they're doing very well. Purely out of curiosity, um, and to expand our view on Polish companies, are there any other Polish companies you own and we should take a look at, perhaps? And let me write them down.
That's yeah, that's the great question. I think if I know something I should something I should share. Um, we have interesting businesses. I probably I shouldn't share maybe offline I can share some ideas and some
Okay,
views,
I see.
but
Yeah,
it's also interesting thing. We mentioned Wrocław as a good place to have business, and it's very interesting thing because like it looks like Wrocław is like really Polish capital for SaaS businesses, and we have a strong list of SaaS companies located
perfect.
in Poland.
You just made the perfect bridge. Let's get back to text and SaaS companies. Um, you've talked about solving problems a few minutes ago. Just to give our listeners a clearer picture, let's walk through a real world example. Say a company like IKEA is looking to improve its customer service. How do they typically discover or arrive at text? What does the onboarding process look like? And once they're up and running, what kind of problems is text actually solving for IKEA? The let's say the core value proposition for text.
So uh, IKEA is very interesting story for us because actually we we started with IKEA Iceland. So so we it's like one shop. So IKEA is like huge brand, and you can think that is like big customers, and it's great to have this logo in your portfolio. But in practice, at the very beginning, um, it was like one shop, really one shop in Iceland. So not like big story. Good thing is that IKEA Iceland were also after a few years joined by IKEA Poland. From what I know, because I was actually, so one of our investors actually sent me a link to some interview with guy from IKEA Iceland. Uh, Actually, people from Iceland uh, presented to the Polish colleague opportunity and opportunity or reasons to try to check live chat in in Poland. So actually now we have two countries when it comes to IKEA, but I think it's important to point out that there are many different scenarios here. If you look at our customer base, you'll see companies, institutions, universities, sports clubs, and basically every industry you can think of, across 150 countries worldwide. And uh, each of them is looking for value in their own unique way. So let's start with our acquisition channels, how we acquire customers. So we have multiple acquisition channels, sorry. This includes Google, our affiliate program, partner program, integrations with various tools, as well as platforms like Shopify, BigCommerce, and Squarespace. Also, social media, and more recently, tools like ChatGPT have started to drive traffic for us. There is also our free product now, Open Widget, which might become a significant acquisition channel. It's already showing some conversion potential. So the whole picture, how we attract customers, how we bring customers, is like constantly evolving. The landscape is changing fast. Um, right now, the way people and businesses search for content online, searching for knowledge online, is shifting rapidly, largely due to AI, which I'm sure we will talk about more. And we need to adapt to that. So we are becoming more active also offline. Last year, our sales team attended to in person only to one in person conference. This year, our team already been to the three conferences, like in New York, Miami, and Barcelona. Uh, we're doing that mainly because our product is not now much better suited for larger customers, and those are often being reached, being beyond just online channels. So we have what is important. There's a lot of different scenarios and a lot of uh, channels we using to attract customers. And onboarding itself, this value proposition is also different for different organizations. So at the very beginning, it was monetization. So we were helping, and we still doing that. I think it's still like maybe number one value proposition for us. We help you to convert your traffic, to engage your customers and increase your sales online. That's I think that like huge promise, and we're doing that. And think not only about live chat as not only about this widget you can put on your website, but inside live chat we are offering additional tools like integration with Stripe and PayPal, which can help you, which can let you to actually process payments within live chat window. But also in time, with time, a new use cases arise. So the promise that we can help you improve your communication with the customers, improve your customer support is also important. Um, is that also something important, and now which is becoming more and more important is automation. So obviously we saying about chatbot, but also AI agents, also about building some processes in your companies. So that's the value we try to present and offer. And onboarding, it's also a very interesting topic, because that is something very special in software as a service businesses. And since we know we are in the podcast of the Dutch investors, maybe that's the right place to mention that I'm a huge fan of Max Verstappen, and 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 really he was like masterclass last week in the Suzuka. That was something absolutely great. But when I think about SaaS businesses, I think that they have one thing common to Formula One. So actually, in the Formula car, you build a car, and in our case, you building some product, and you launching that product, but you are improving, you are introducing changes to that product, and the same applies to the onboarding process all the time. So that's the same like with the car of the Formula One. You starting season with the brand new car, and actually you gather information every time you can, and you are forced to actually bring some improvement almost every week, even small one. And sometimes you roll out a package of updates and improvement, and on paper everything looks great. But then you hit the track, and then suddenly the car is slower, not faster, which in SaaS business translate into situation that you can see that um, your KPIs are not growing, but they're getting worse, like conversion rate, for example. Um, you need to figure out what's wrong. Maybe it's bug, maybe it's some in the maybe it's something outside to your solution. Maybe that's something in the environment. Maybe it's like weather in the case of the Formula One. and mm, and and sometimes you are not really sure what is not working, what change was the best change. That's exactly what happened to Mercedes, and what is now happening to Red Bull, I think. And we went through that very situation last year. We wrote a major update to the uh, to the onboarding. We made a huge set of changes in our product, and something just didn't work. And actually, we had to take huge step back and see what to realize what really happened. So that's not something easy, because I had a lot of voices that no, live chat is something easy, chatbot is something easy, everyone can do that. But to build SaaS company, to put all the processes online, to refine that processes, is something which is not so easy, is complicated, and it's evolving all the time. If you I think still the best thing you can do, if you interested on how we onboard customers, is just launch trial. It's not so simple in the case of the help desk, our ticketing system, but in the case of the live chat and chatbot, it's really doable. It should be simple, and you can check that by yourself, and learn how it's going, what our product are about. Mm.
I think that's a great way of explaining it, like the Formula One car. And by the way, we are all fans of Max Verstappen. I mean,
I thought so. I thought so.
I mean, who isn't? If you like real drivers, he's a real driver, right? So
He's the best at this moment. He's the best. But also, I also really, really hope to see Checo Perez on the track again. I think now we can see how difficult challenge he faced, racing along Max. And I really hope that we will see him again next year.
yeah, I never thought of the Formula One comparison. So it's kind of a never-ending cycle of investing, kind of trying new features, getting feedback, and redoing it over and over again just to, stay ahead. So how does Text build and defend its edge, kind of? Like this is a never-ending technological advancement. So what does Text do that makes them the go-to player?
I think being very close to the customers. Being very close to the customers. Uh, so we really rely on the customers' feedback. We listening to our customers. We are doing everything possible to be like in the constant contact to understand what customers needs, how they use our products, where some problems arise. That's the most important. That's the key. And always in our history, uh, very important was a process which I believe is called like dog fooding, or eating your own spam. We are heavy users of our own product. We experiment. Sometimes we experiment uh, live, but on our own license, on our website, on our live chat license is the first place when we actually try things. So it's extremely important for us to use our own products. And maybe you heard, we not saying a lot about what to come in as a new product, but but we but we working on the new product which is called team chat. And I think for us is uh, something we really don't like, fact that for internal communication we are using external tools, and some tools for internal communication would be also in the future excellent mm, addition to suite we are working on. So yes, using our own tools is extremely important for us.
Yeah, I can imagine. And on customer acquisition, I kind of came to the conclusion in our analysis that Text's biggest problem or perhaps struggle is getting found and not being seen as a single solution, right? Am I correct in saying that Text uses a kind of land and expand type of strategy, similar to Adyen, the Dutch software company, or even Palantir, where you just land uh, with a customer and then show your exceptional quality and service you can provide, and then expand from there? Or does Text use a different kind of strategy?
I think it's very similar. So yes, um, actually, if you look at our history, uh, we not always been a SaaS company. Actually, we completely changed our business model in 2010. Um, Before that, we were traditional software developer. We try a very different way of customer acquisition. They were very inefficient. We were losing money. We were not profitable then. And actually, the most important moment in our history was to change business model, to go online, to put our product online, to become software as a service company. And from that moment, like in one day, we became global company, from being company limited to one Polish market. And the fact was that we didn't have money to spend. We didn't have money for some marketing campaigns. We didn't have money to go really outside the Poland to organize conferences, selling event, and so on and so on. Around us there was always a competitors who actually rely heavily on that kind of customer acquisition, but we didn't have money for that. So we just needed to think about something else. We had to be clever. We so word of mouth was and still is extremely important for us. Opinions from the customers, having advocates, people who advocate, our advocates who actually spread the word about our solution. That was something very important. Of course, being on the marketplaces, in the places like Capterra, like GetUp, was and still is important for us. But it makes sense to be in places like that if your rates are high, because you don't want to be, listed on the Capterra or GetUp with the opinions saying that you are crap, that your product is crap. Definitely not. So yes, that's the strategy. But but also we probably still gonna discuss AI. But during the last year, AI heavily influenced our environment. I'm not saying about product itself. We were very concentrated about an eye when it comes to product development. But what happened is that AI is changing a way people and companies look for content in the internet. If you're using ChatGPT or Grok or some other assistant, you're not this AI is using content from your website to formulate knowledge gathered on your website to prepare answers for the people who actually asking questions. But these people are not forced, no longer forced, to visit your website, which is game changer when it comes to SEO, which is really changing how you market online. So that's affected us. Really, that affected us. That affected our business, our process of customer acquisition. That affected some of our affiliate partners. And what is maybe most important, that affected a lot of online businesses who relied on SEO. Actually, there is a company called Chegg. They are in the educational space, and actually they just sued Google for introducing that mechanism, because the AI assistant is using knowledge and content from the website, but the people are not entering the website. So that's something we have to adapt. We will adapt, as mentioned. ChatGPT is now new uh, channel of customer acquisition for us, um, but no, the rules of the game is changing.
Yeah, yeah. I believe Czech is not doing great business model wise. Yeah, and it's getting disrupted by AI, and I feel like AI is kind of a double edged sword sometimes, where at the same it gives a lot of opportunities, but I mean it affects many businesses as well. You just said you were losing money and you weren't even a SaaS company before 2010. So Text had to change the business model, right? And they became global. This shift to an integrated SaaS ecosystem, a bit like Adobe, if I can make that comparison, is very important for Text. So why do you think Text, the stock is down almost 70% from its peak? Is it because of the uncertainty from the transition? Is it because AI is potentially disrupting Text business model? What is your gut feeling on this?
But IR can be suspect here. Of course, I hope not. I still hope that we're doing a reasonable job, but I think that our story is not heard really at this moment. So yes, that there is a, obviously, if you look at our numbers, they're not so great as they used to be. So if you look at the MRR for the last quarter, we have like 7% of the annual growth. We used to see higher numbers. We like to see higher numbers. We hope that would be possible. We work on that. So obviously that there is a reason. So a lot of even fund managers are saying maybe in dollars you're still growing, but when we translate that results in the zlotys, there is no growth at all, which means for us you are no longer growth company. You can be value company. We can like your dividends. We maybe you can doing good business, but that's no longer growth company. So the valuation is different. So that's the one thing. But I really don't think that's the only thing behind what market is doing. Um Market is also, especially Polish investors, very concentrated on the number of the customers. And if you look at the number of the live chat customers on the net level, we're losing a lot of them recently, and that's the fact. And to be clear, it's not it's not like our plan. We don't like the fact that this number is shrinking, but but at the other hand, the business is still growing. We actually, what is happening, we are replacing smaller customers with bigger customers. In the future, that should translate into lower churn, into better revenue, um, retention rates. So that's actual that positive process. I'm not saying that losing customers is a good something good. No, but if you need to lose customers and you are able replace them with bigger customers who actually are easier to upsell, which are more loyal, is not so really not so bad for your businesses. But we used to, for the very long time, we used to um, report only number of the live chat customers in our history. So people here are very used to that number, and they for them it's like number one or even the only KPIs. We had this situation in the one of the previous webinars that actually we had like question from fund manager who actually knows company from the IPO, who knows us very well. And we had like discussion, public discussion, because that was during webinar, about the RPO, about MRR, and at the end said, he was said, I'm looking only at the number of customers. So of course he have every right to do that. It's fine, of course. That's his choice. That's his call. That's his decision. And by the way, he sold a lot of shares, from what I know, from what we can observe. They were selling. So they're right. I think they don't. They also thinks that yes, there's a lot of uncertainty for them. Um, and they're not sure what will happen with AI, with as a result of AI adoption of the market. That there is a lot of, I would say, valid things you should look for, and AI is game changer. So it's gonna change our landscape, and not all companies will win. The market itself, our industry we are with, will be winner. Not one company will be winner. A few companies will be winner, will win that situation. But some of them will gonna
I
lose.
think you explained that perfectly. And I think I'd have to agree there. And if there's one thing investors don't like, it's uncertainty. Just look at Donald Trump, what he's doing, right? I mean, he's basically just saying things, and it brings a lot of uncertainty and what's going on in the markets. You never know. But I think it's a good time to head on over to AI. You just said that AI could be a huge risk and opportunity. What I look for in an investment is honest and capable management, and which I think is something I believe in Text. I mean, they're extremely honest, which I can really appreciate. I mean, they're so honest that They basically said in the annual report that AI will either be a huge opportunity or they're going to get killed by AI. It's one of the two, and I can really appreciate the honesty. Um, I mean, they're honest about it, and it also means they won't get surprised by it. And I believe eventually, the honest and capable management with employees and a good culture will determine the success of any company. You just said there will be multiple winners and there will be multiple losers. So let's talk about AI for a minute, because it is hard to ignore how fast things are moving. Um, Over the past year, we've seen a huge leap in how AI is used across industries. Also, customer service is right in the middle of this wave. In many ways, AI seems like the perfect fit for what text does, automating repetitive tasks, improving response times, scaling support without headcount, perhaps. But at the same time, it's like I said, a double-edged sword. AI can make your product a lot more powerful, but it can also lower the barrier for others to try and copy what you've built. But it's not easy, like you said. So, what is your take on AI? Is it more of an opportunity long term, or is it more of a risk for text?
Sure. So obviously, we just discussed the situation when we were hit by something we didn't see coming from completely different, perspective. We are concentrate on. So obviously that's the biggest challenge when it comes to AI. How many things we are seeing, how many things we can foresee, and how fast we can adapt if there will be some turn or a new opportunity or new no situation um, which arise because of the AI. But as a rule, on general, I think AI is absolutely huge opportunity for us. It's a very accessible technology. So actually, when you think about some AI solution, you have different technologies on the market. These technology are very accessible, and at the same times very powerful. So we can use that technology. Um, Part of them we can be used to develop something on our own. To some degree, we can just connect to, let's say, ChatGPT or any other big language model. It depends, but it's like great technology which we can use to create significant value for our customers. And yes, obviously we hope that they'll pay for that value. So that's the opportunity. We can build a lot, create a lot of value, answer better the problems our customers have with, and we can do that quite fast, I would say. So that's like huge opportunity for us, and for the whole market, for our whole industry. But at the same time, it's game changer. It's transforming the market. So is there is a risk that at some point we will be out of the loop? Yes, yes, there is that yes, that's the risk. I don't see that now. I don't see that now. I think that, of course, there's a lot of theories. So you can meet people that will claim that companies like ours will be totally replaced by, I would say, in one scenarios, but some giant corporations like Google or Microsoft, who will be able to launch something really powerful virtually for free, or in second scenarios, by the fact that with some AI agents, everyone will be able to create like everything, also for free. The free part is definitely not true, not gonna happen. AI is maybe not, I would say today is expensive. Tomorrow will be maybe not so expensive, but still there will be always a cost related to using AI. So I don't believe personally. I may be wrong, but personally I don't believe that that any of these scenarios which comes true. I believe that uh, companies like Text, but companies like HubSpot, companies like Intercom, Freshworks, Salesforce. Now, of course, I'm that much bigger company like ours, are very well positioned to be the leaders of the change and benefit from the change. But yes, that's a game changer at situation when the market is transforming. So yes, that there are risks also. And I think if you look at our valuation, I don't like to comment share price. That not my role, not my role really. But I think when you look at the valuation, it's definitely there are more risks priced in than
Oh,
opportunities.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, nothing to add there. Um, Perhaps a bit more philosophical, but I think it kind of matters. I mean, we can't look into the future, but text is well about, text, chat messages, written communication. But looking ahead, say 10 years from now, 15 years from now, are we heading towards a more voice driven, visual, or even AI powered, completely new way where text is just not needed anymore? If you can speculate a bit on this, what do you think?
So I hope not. So I hope that text will prevail and will be very important. Not only because I work for text, also because my no individual preferences. I really hate uh, call companies. I really don't like even call restaurants to book a table. I'm very happy when I can just use some application and just choose um, place, time, and just click on book place and see that is confirmed, and that's all. So I really hope that text will prevail and will be very important in the future because of my individual preferences. But of course, I'm aware that different peoples prefer um, different channels of communications and have overall different preferences. When you look at the text now, especially live chat, uh, we are telling our customers that they should be in the places, in the channels which are preferred channels of their customers. So yes, so one person would prefer email, the other person would prefer to visit website and use live chat, and the third person will be all about WhatsApp. And you should have all what we can do for you, um, what we can do for you is to gather, as our customers, is to gather all these conversations in the one place, in the one tool. And in that one place, you can gather that data, analyze that data, and so on and so on. And the same applies to the voice or video communication. So even today, even as of today, we have some integration, not our own um, native solution, but we are integrated with tools which makes possible to mm, uh, to um, to make to transfer written chat into voice communication or video communication. Funny thing, we used to have native video in like at the very beginning of our story. We just dropped off the idea because actually our customers weren't interested in that historically. But in the future, uh, I'm convinced that we will also gather voice communication and video communication. Because if you think about voice communication, uh, if you if you want to store the data, if you want to analyze the data from that communication, it also should be transferred into text. So at some point, if you at some point you will need text. So text communication will be in place even in the company who only using voice communication. uh, these calls should be transcript and analyzed as a text.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. I don't see text ever going away. I think there's always a place for text, not just as the company, but as in texts in general, like written. I think there's always a place, and people will prefer text many times. I didn't think about it that way, but I don't like calling companies or, uh, I just want my answer. I want to book something through the app or through the website and be done. Even for customer service, I rather not call someone. I just want a live someone to help me, like through live chat, for example.
If you think about it, I mean, everyone, probably almost everyone, had some bad experiences from calling companies when you had to wait and customer support was rather bad. So I think everyone had some not great experiences when it comes to voice, but also it's not so satisfying to send mails because mail is okay. I like mails, but especially if the customer support is reacting quickly. But sometimes you're sending mail and you have that feeling that you don't know what the answer can be. Is somebody saw your mails? Is being responded? Maybe it was blocked somehow. So that's why I like live chat, but also that same applies to communicators like WhatsApp.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And perhaps a bit of a weird question, but let's say Text SA as the company would disappear tomorrow. What would happen to customers using your services? Is there like a complete alternative if Text disappeared, or what would happen to the companies?
That's a very good question. Most of them will manage. Most of them, honestly, will manage. Um, some of them. Some of them, maybe even customers who are responsible for most of our business, at least significant part of the business, will not find one-to-one replacement, or that they can find something similar, or they could be able to build similar solutions, similar setup using different solutions from different customers, but um, not exactly the same. So they will be able to find replacement, but the setup experience will be, at the end of the day will be different. Of course, now I should say that that will be negative change for them. I hope so. I hope so, but yes, the real answer is like usual. Unfortunately, it depends. In some situation, and it can be easy, especially if that the customers are using, for example, only live chat. Um, but if some other customers is using live, the same only one product, but he puts some work into integrate live chat with some tools, with some crms, with different channels of communication, that's gonna hurt. I'm sure of that. In
Yes.
the most simple questions, probably, well, not so huge problem, unfortunately. In some cases, in some good cases, yes, some of the pain will be there.
Yeah, the more I think what you're trying to say is the more integrated you are using multiple solutions, um, the harder it is and the more painful it will be, right? If you're
Yes,
just using a
yes.
simple live chat solution, you can just go to another service. It might not be as well or as good, but you'll be fine, you know?
I hope that even in that simple situation, customers at the after some times will mm, will will say that, um, well, I responded to my needs. I found something similar, but I don't like, really. I don't like that new solution as much as I liked live chat and live chat support, for example, and I didn't get as great support as I have in the previous from the previous providers. Is that true? I kinda hope so. But the true is the fact is we losing customers from different reasons. Uh, Migrating to competition is is definitely not the number one. It's not a huge, but it's happening. But it's happening. It's like always hurts, but it's happening for different reasons. Um, During the last webinars, actually, we were discussing the one thing which was new, which happened during the last quarter, was new integration with HubSpot. New integration with HubSpot, which is now official integration. We actually we were able to join a HubSpot app partner program. So we have this license, very smooth, I would say great integration with HubSpot. And why is so important? Because we are actually, the fact is we are losing some customers. because we didn't have a great HubSpot integrations. If you may love live chat, for example, live chat, but uh, if if you're using live chat and HubSpot is probably for you more important. More important in the fact that also is more difficult to switch HubSpot than switch live chat. So that's why this integration was so important, and that also some kind of risks, that some kind of pain we had, and sometimes we that is for us as well for some other providers, that sometimes we are part of the ecosystem as just one of the providers, and if you are not the most important for your customers, or uh, is not the most difficult to switch, not the most sticky solution in that ecosystem, you definitely should care about great integrations.
Yeah, in our analysis, I basically said that I think a huge advantage for text is that the fact that you make it so easy and convenient for customers, they don't really want to do it themselves. They don't really have a need to switch. And besides, it represents such a small part of their operations, right? It's just a few things they need. It's very unlikely that they will switch because I don't know. There's not really profit to be made here. I mean, you make it so easy and convenient and so cheap that I think I'll have to agree with you here. Yeah. I mean, we're having a good conversation, and I imagine you have a lot more things to do. So let me try to wrap this up a little bit. A few more questions I have. During our research, I found that Text doesn't really have traditional employees, that the entire team kind of operates as an independent contractors or partners, which is pretty unusual for publicly listed companies. And yet you've managed to scale globally. I believe you said over 150 countries. You support thousands of clients. And from everybody that I've asked, the service is exceptional if you look around to the reviews. So let's start there. Why is Text using this model? Why work with partners instead of like full-time traditional employees?
Sure, but I think this is very Polish phenomenon. Um, Over the years, different governments, have created conditions that make this setup really attractive for both people in the companies, for the people, especially in the tech, media, or gaming. So probably you will not see that in Dino, but if you look for some tech company, if you analyze some Polish companies in those industries, probably you will see that big part of the team cost show up as external services. Even just recently, these days, a few days ago, Polish Parliament reduced health insurance payments for this group of solo entrepreneurs. So it's again even more attractive for the people. So a lot of the people, especially younger ones, prefer this model. I'm not saying that everyone is preferring that model, but but a lot of younger people likes that model, and for us as a company, it means cost savings, and that means that we can the running company is simpler because we don't have, for example, uh, some part. We have a HR team, but we don't have people as huge HR team. HR team as we need in that situation. So it's interesting, but it's very Polish things. Maybe we push that situation to some extreme in text, but it's not something unusual here in Poland. Um, so from my perspective, it means that I will get more money to as a person. Uh, my pension from the state will be much lower, but I get more money now, and I can take care of my pension, or of my savings on my own. Um, so that's very popular situation in Poland. Maybe we push that to some extreme. Um, it's not a cultural issue at all. So we don't have a cultural problem because of that. It's actually is working very smoothly. The issue for us was, and we realized that's too late, was remote work, was the full remote work. And that's why we introduced a hybrid model. We switched to hybrid model. And now if you work in Wrocław, you need to spend 3 days in the office at least. And if you're working from outside Wrocław, you have to visit Wrocław at least once a month and spend 3 days at the office. That applies for me, to me. So yes, very Polish things, and you will see if you go deeper into to some other Polish tech or gaming companies, you will also see that's the popular form here.
You made a great little bridge. You already explained it a little bit, but how does management communicate with the team? Since there's kind of a hybrid model where people work in the office and from home. So how does that work? How does the management make decisions? How do they communicate with the team?
So obviously we even during pandemics we embrace a lot of tools which are with us, uh, at the very moment. Um, if you look at the inside company, the CXOs are working as a team. So CXOs are the one teams, and below we have rather small teams. So a lot depends from the team's leaders and their characters. Um, but definitely we're using a lot of online tool to communicate, uh, to be in touch. We are the text. And as I mentioned, I love text communication. It's very natural for me. The same goes for a lot of companies in our people in our companies, especially including CEO. So I have a lot of chatting with my CEO actually through Slack, and maybe very soon via Team Chat. I hope so. But we have a chatting a lot, not really seeing uh, ourselves in the real world so often. So we like that kind of communication. Actually, I was told by Mariusz, our CEO, that every delivery man in his area knows that he not answering calls, that they have to send a text message for him because he's never answering calls. And in the company, we have list of every people in the company with some data, with emails, and also phone numbers. and there is like small notes when you look for the contact, like for phone call, phone number of each person, when and why you should call this person. In my case is that I'm handling questions from investors. So maybe if some investor will reach our support team, and the support teams will try to answer some questions, they should contact me and they can call me. And the note for our CEO never called me, send me a text message.
I mean, that's pretty funny for a company called Text. Just two more questions that I came up with. Um, you just talked about the CEO, and he doesn't like to get called. Are the CEOs or CEO in this case approachable? Are they closely involved with the team, or do they maintain more of a formal, distant relationship with the employees? What is that like?
No, we are not really formal company. During before pandemic, actually before pandemic, we okay. So maybe you will be someday you will be able to visit our office,
I hope so.
and you will learn that yes, that we have like two floors in our office, and the lower floor is about, there is some common space, no kitchen and place when you can eat something, but also a room, so phone booth and the rooms dedicated to meetings. But on the higher floor, uh, there's no doors, and actually that was some one thing our CEO wanted. No doors at all. So we learned that it's not like huge huge room, because it's rather um, long building. So actually it's not like you have feeling that you're sitting on the huge space, but it's very open space, and was no uh, like cabinet or one room closed room for management board. No, Marius was always in the middle of that place, or always approachable. So that how it works. Now 6 teams works very closely as a team, and we rather try to be more team oriented. So actually, if you have team, this team is working very closely and is supposed to integrate very closely. Uh, that obvious change, because during IPO the company consists of some 30 plus people. Now we have 250. So that's obviously game changer, but we tried definitely. We don't want a be formal company.
I mean, great insights. I think many of our listeners. I mean, I've never heard that before. That no doors policy, which sounds great, to be honest. Just being able to approach people. Yeah.
And to actually to be very honest, one team rebelled, and there is
Okay.
one door, and
Yeah.
that's finances. The girls from that team said that, sorry, no, we really need to be kind of separated and have our own door, because we really want to work that way. So actually there is one exception,
Okay.
but
But
only
the
one.
CEO gives room for that, so that's great too. All right. Let's wrap this up. what is something you're working on right now that excites you? Are there any exciting things happening at Text that you can share or want to share?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we try to be vocal about it. It's sweet. It's sweet. If you look at our history, we start as the one product company. For the very long time, we were one product company. We were very focused on the live chat. And even during IPO, we claimed that we will be one product company in the in the future. And with time, we changed strategy. We built new product. But now, when you look at this product, this product are supplement each other. But at the same time, if you are our customers and you're using, let's say, live chat and help desk, you don't have this single experience. You don't have extra value because these products are coming from the one developers. You have two apps. That must change. That must change. So we're working very closely uh, on unification of this product, on giving our customers this single experience, better experience, when having ticketing system, live chat, different channels of communications, bots, AI agents is very, very natural. So uh, so yes, that's really something really exciting. That's a game changer. That's a huge bet for us. That's a huge challenge. We have to build that suite. We need to market that new value. We have built strategy for that. We need to put right pricing strategy for that product. But it's for me it's very excited. It's like huge bet. It's challenge, but now I know how it will be looked like in behind. How, not really in behind. I know how it should look for the customers, and it's something really excited.
When do you think it's going to get launched?
And I will be able to tell you more in some three months. After that quarter, we should be able to tell you more about it.
Perfect.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's we don't want really go and put uh, some pressure on us here. We have some pressure. We have some internal pressure. We don't want to add some external pressure at this
Yeah.
moment. Maybe in the after the next quarter, we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, perhaps if you want to come on the show in a few years again or a few months, who knows, right? If you're ever not busy, which I can't imagine, I can't imagine. Marcin, thank you so much for joining and coming on the show. It's been a real pleasure hearing the story, the background, what you do, what is happening at Text, your perspective. It's been a lot of fun, and I think our listeners will really get some educational and sight from this episode. And as a shareholder, I'll follow you and the journey closely. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. That was a huge pleasure, and we'll be happy to continue at some point. So thank you.
All right, thanks. And who knows if we'll ever come to the headquarters and see you there.
That would be great. Feel invited.
We'll stay
Just
in
let me
touch.
know ahead, and because I have to also plan. This my 3 days, I have to spend every month on the office.
We'll make it happen.
So that will help me. Let's make it happen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.